That's right, baby. Rainbow Road 64 is finally back in Mario Kart 8, and so are a bunch of other classic tracks like Toad's Turnpike and Royal Raceway that I was able to try out at a recent preview event. And what a preview it was, as I was able to spend well more than 2 hours with the game. And in that time, I managed to race on 16 racetracks split evenly between new and retro courses, tried out some previously unannounced characters like Shy Guy, Lakitu, and Metal Mario, and even played around with a couple of new items, being a Piranha Plant and a Boomerang. Yeah, it's a lot to cover. Far too much for just a single preview, which is why we'll be doing an in-depth breakdown on each of the new tracks over the coming days. So make sure to stay tuned for those, as well as a raw gameplay footage of each one. Okay, so the very basics of Mario Kart 8 are, not surprisingly, very similar to Mario Kart 7. After all, you can still customize your vehicle in the exact same way as before, by changing its body, wheels, and glider type. And speaking of gliders, both hang gliding and underwater racing are of course back too. But this time, they're joined by the brand new edition of Anti-Gravity, which allows for some truly inventive track designs. Take the game's very first course, Mario Kart Stadium, for example. Although it starts pretty typically, it won't be long before you'll find yourself perpendicular to the ground as you race up and around a vertical track section. And the examples only get crazier, like in Shy Guy Falls, where you'll literally race up and down a pair of waterfalls before taking to the air to cross a massive chasm. But the anti-gravity isn't just for looks, as it changes the way the game is played in two main ways. First up is the fact that bumping into other racers while in anti-gravity mode is actually encouraged, as it gives you an instant speed boost, which means you'll probably want to ram into as many people as possible, which is pretty different from how most Mario Kart games are usually played. And secondly, the anti-gravity opens a way to shortcuts and alternate routes that wouldn't otherwise be possible, such as in Thwomp Ruins, where you can either stick to the main track or simply drive up the wall instead. Now, the really interesting thing about the addition of anti-gravity is just how well it works together with the hang gliding and underwater sections. I mean, it really feels like the connective tissue that I didn't realize was missing from Mario Kart 7. Take this exterior section of Thwomp Ruins, for example. As you can see, there are three main paths, one on each side and another down the middle. Now that middle path is actually pretty tricky to get to, as it's only revealed for a short time when a large cog rolls over it, meaning you have to time it carefully. But if you pull it off, you'll be rewarded with a hang gliding shortcut. Now, if you miss out on the middle path, you can then take either of the side paths, although they're both guarded by a thwomp. But you can get around that little problem by driving up the wall instead. And on top of all that, there's still yet another option, and that's to simply drive right through the lake in the middle. There are a ridiculous amount of options here, all of which are only possible thanks to the merging of these three mechanics. And that's not even my favorite example. Let's take a look at Toad's Turnpike, a retro course returning from Mario Kart 64. Now, in the original game, it was a simple race down a simple highway where dodging traffic was the name of the game. But check out what they've done this time. The traffic's still there, of course, but this time you can choose to avoid much of it by driving up the perimeter walls instead, albeit at the expense of a slightly shorter route. Although, if you do risk the main path, you might just come across a new truck with a lowered ramp that you can launch off of, allowing you to sail over most of the hazards instead. It's choices like these that really make the tracks in Mario Kart 8 stand out. In fact, between the new mechanics and vast visual upgrade, Toad's Turnpike is nearly unrecognizable compared to its former self. And this is something that most of the returning tracks all have in common, namely that they all look gorgeous now, having been lovingly updated to take advantage of the Wii U's power. And few courses showcase this better than Mario Kart Wii's Moo Moo Meadows. What before was a fun but visually dull track is now a beautiful rolling landscape. And instead of taking place midday, the race is now set at sunrise with elongated shadows to match. Then there's Dry Dry Desert from Mario Kart Double Dash, which now not only features falling pillars, but a track made of sand so soft, the racers even leave tire tracks in it. And that's not even to mention the beautiful new oasis you'll now drive through too. Honestly, if it weren't for the very obvious retro branding, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people mistook some of these returning tracks for entirely new ones. Of course, one of the most famous elements of any Mario Kart game is the item selection. And you probably won't be surprised to learn that the trademark ones are all back, including bananas, green and red shells, lightning bolts, bowl of bills, and everyone's favorite, blue shells, which behave exactly as they did in Mario Kart 7. Now, on top of the returning ones, there are at least two brand new ones that we were able to try out. First up is the Boomerang, which is a long-range projectile which will take out everything in its path, including on the way back. And the best part is that you can throw it 3 times in total. Between its vast range, quick speed, and multiple uses, it's definitely one of the more potent weapons. Next up is a potted Piranha Plant, and just like the one in Super Mario 3D World, it will lunge out at anyone nearby. But the cooler thing is it'll actually pull you forward each time it does this, giving you a mini speed boost, encouraging you to get as close to as many opponents as possible. I found both items to feel pretty distinct from the others and were enjoyable to use. And on top of those two, the coin item from the original Super Mario Kart also returns, awarding you with 2 coins instantly. Now there has been one important change to how the items work, and that's the fact that as long as you have any item in your possession, it will occupy your inventory slot, preventing you from picking up another. What this means is that you can no longer have triple shells orbit you or drag an item behind you while collecting a second item to keep in reserve. It definitely took me some getting used to, but it should make taking out enemies in front of you a bit easier. Okay, so I'm pretty sure I can hear a lot of you asking, but how's the gamepad used? Well, it works almost exactly like the lower screen in Mario Kart 7, displaying a map of the course, as well as the positions of the other racers and what items they hold. Unfortunately, because the map is only available in a zoomed out view, it's far less usable than it was in 7. Now there are also 3 virtual buttons on the right side of the gamepad that act as on and off toggles for off-TV play, a goofy horn that replaces the map, as well as the option to enable motion controls. And I'm happy to say that the motion controls work at least as well here as they did in Mario Kart Wii, and they also don't force you into a first-person mode like they did in Mario Kart 7, which appears to be gone entirely. In fact, the game takes a few pages from Mario Kart Wii's book, bringing back the rear view mirror option, as well as supporting all primary Wii U controllers, including the Wii U Pro Controller, Wii Remote and Nunchuck, and just a Wii Remote by itself. I even spent almost the entire time playing the hardest difficulty level available, being 150cc, and felt right at home with the controls. Overall, I had a blast the entire time I spent playing Mario Kart 8. Racing anti-gravity is a lot of fun, the new items felt fresh, and the course designs, both old and new, might just be some of the best in the series. And of course it doesn't hurt that the game really is gorgeous, which I'm pretty sure is the first time I've said that about a Mario Kart game. So that wraps it up for our preview of Mario Kart 8, but we're not anywhere close to being done covering it yet, so make sure to keep an eye on our YouTube channel or website, GameXplain.com, for our upcoming discussion, Q&A, and in-depth overview videos of each track coming soon. Thanks for watching, and make sure to keep an eye on GameXplain.com for more on Mario Kart 8 and other things gaming too.